Hello, my loves. We are here with morning sessions with ADHD life coach Janae Robinson, which is me. This week, we are going to be talking about people pleasing and particularly how rejection sensitivity dysphoria and rejection sensitivity, since there are slight differences between the two, how that plays a part in people pleasing that you've been doing pretty much all your life. So what is rejection sensitivity dysphoria? It is when there is an extreme emotional response to rejection, and more also perceived rejection, because we oftentimes will foreshadow and think we're being rejected when we're not. So this is once again how that comes in. But it's because of failure or rejection. Our brain can't regulate, or it gets to a point where it can't regulate emotions properly. So because of that, our emotions are magnified when we're met with a perceived failure or a perceived judgment. Because our ADHD, of course, is in the frontal lobe, which controls social skills, it controls judgment. Because of that, it's compromised in a way. So that's where our rejection sensitivity comes in. And fun fact, I found out dysphoria comes from the ancient Greek word strong, if not overwhelming feeling of pain or discomfort, which is how the title comes into be. We also interpret vague interactions as rejection as well, and can't control our reactions once again, which if you know that a lot of times something that the other person would be like, I was not rejecting you at all. To us, we're like, oh my God, they thought we were failures, right? Like you build it up in your head, and it's this, what others see as an overreaction for you is like justified in your head for how you feel. As far as rejection sensitivity, not as great of an emotional response in your body, like not debilitating emotional response, but still you have this dysregulated emotional response. This goes back to emotional dysregulation. How once again, in our brain, it is hard to regulate our emotions, but also just generally in different things, hard to regulate things. There's like the brain that like filters and regulates signals to the brain doesn't work the same. And so because of that, our emotions just get completely dysregulated. And so with rejection sensitivity, how this ties into people pleasing is, let's take an example of your fear of failure, right? Your fear of failure means that every little tiny thing every tiny thing can be seen as a sign of failure for you. And you magnify your response to failure, perceived failure or judgment, is magnified to a higher degree. So let's say you got like one small piece of criticism on a piece of work that you did. You will take that criticism and turn it into like an internal judgment. Now, some people with ADHD will have an outward reaction to it, right? They may have anger or frustration, like their reaction is outward, but there are others who go inward as well. There's 7 different types of ADHD so far that's been noted. And so it just depends, but there are some that go inward as well. So you inwardly just talk badly about yourself, and the emotion is magnified, which is how, once again, that people-pleasing factor comes into light. Because once it's magnified, you now want to go above and beyond to make sure that nobody sees you as a failure again. You've already called yourself a failure. Not your job or your work being a failure, but you've tied your worth to your job, to outside sources. Let's say that, not just job. You tie your worth to outside sources, whether that is relationships, whether it is work. You've now tied your internal worth to somebody else's view of what that work is. And so everything is magnified. So you want to go above and beyond, so that never happens to you again, or they never have a reason to judge you again. It can be, rejection sensitivity can be, well, to some people it's a small thing, but let's say you invite a friend out to the movies and they say no. That can be, if you have RSD, which is the rejection sensitive dysphoria, it literally is like a debilitating, oh my God, like emotional response to it. If you have rejection sensitivity, it can create feelings of like anxiety and hurt, also pain, but not to the degree of RSD. But anxiety, pain, like, and then you're second guessing yourself. You're like, oh my God, well, why don't they want to go with me? Is there a reason? Like, did I do something wrong? What can I do better? And then you start analyzing all your past interactions with that person, because now you think that it's something that you've done, when it could very well be that they were just busy and they can't do it for whatever reason, right? But this once again also comes into the factor of social skills and judgment and how we perceive ourselves. So that's how rejection sensitivity plays a part in there. One step that you're going to want to take to handle rejection sensitivity is, first off, your body will always tell you what your mind may not catch up to first. So if you're feeling that anxiety, if you're feeling that anger, you need to actually get up and do movement. You need to get up and like shake, do jumping jacks, whatever it is. One thing it releases is dopamine and endorphins. So that obviously already helps, because your brain already has a lack of dopamine. But also it is the movement of energy, right? Everything is energy, right? Everything is energy. And so it's a buildup of energy that has caused from misfirings in your brain that have now gone to your body, and it's just this abundance of it. So you need to work through that and work it out of your body. So that's the first thing that you should be doing, is being like, okay, let me just like shake this shit out and get myself together that way. And then sit and think, okay, now let's take out the idea that it could be me. If it's not me, then what, right? Or if it has something to do with your job, with that one criticism, okay, they criticized this piece of work that I did. What can I do to maybe improve on that, right? But this piece of work that I did does not mean that they're criticizing me as a whole ass human being, right? So you have to now be self-aware of, okay, now that I've like released that energy, let me be self-aware on what's going on how I should perceive this properly in a healthy way. Because once again, we overdo it a lot with our emotions. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do, is expend that energy and get that energy flowing out of you. And then sit and really think, okay, in this moment, first off, are they rejecting me, right? Because a lot of times, because you're not good with social cues, or social skills, they may do something that's very vague, and you perceive it and take it as a rejection. So second thing after you regulate your body is going to be, what if it's not about me? What if it has nothing to do with me? Then what, right? What if they didn't mean that at all? Then what? Really think about it that way. What if it has nothing to do with me? Then what? What if they didn't mean that way at all? Then what? This is also why people with ADHD love explanations. We love communication. You tell us exactly what you need from us. And don't be vague. Don't be giving, just be upfront and real. That's what we want. But yeah, say that to yourself. If it's not me, then what? If it's not this, then what? And then that will help you step back from your emotions and start analyzing it better. Okay? I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tonight for a nightly spiritual motivational message. I'll see you later.